Man, and here we are. So for those of you guys that don't know, Win the Day, baby, still got it on. Yeah, still got it on. So John and I go way, way, way back. Even before we reconnected recently through high school, we played a little grade school ball together. So John,
I was gonna say, yeah, like fourth grade, fifth grade.
Yeah, fourth, fifth grade, little Mustang football. I mean, just a little throwback for all y'all that don't know. Undefeated, unscored upon. That's all I got to say. Yeah, those are some great times. But the reason I bring you on here today, John, is just because you've overcame a lot. And I will say this, from our friend group, we had a nice little core group of us. We like to mess around a bit. We were all kind of, I would say, at least I'll speak for myself, I was kind of in a rut, and we were all just kind of staying close knit. And my man John was the first to go out, commit to something, and really take that next step, which was joining the Army. And that's you really inspire me to go out and do the same thing. Because I think we were all stuck. We were in that basement. We were all doing the same thing every damn day. And then John's like, "Nope, I'm gonna change the habit." So why don't you talk to me a little bit about what went into that change, like that first day you decided to go out, join the Army, and take that next step?
Krem, I really think that when we were in high school, when we reconnected, all of our friends, we were doing the same thing every single day.
Yeah.
Like we literally thought we could run this stuff. Like we thought we owned the world. We thought we had everything. Right. We thought we knew everything. Nobody could tell us anything.
Nothing.
But the truth is that we were in this bubble. Like we were in a bubble in North Royalton, and we were in our own little bubble where we didn't listen to anybody, whether they were right or wrong. In our minds, they were wrong. We didn't want to do anything else, and in all reality, we were going nowhere, doing nothing.
Nothing.
And then it kind of proved itself. Like once I moved out to college, I went out by myself to the real world, and I didn't make it. I didn't last. I wasn't able to succeed. I wasn't able to do anything. I got sent home within a couple months, and I was right back doing the same stuff. Yeah. But I mean, you guys were all still gone doing your own thing. I mean, it was just a really like a slap in the face, a wake up call.
Right. No, I definitely hear you there. And man, I'll tell you what, I might have lasted a little longer, but it wasn't that much. I ended up being right back home too, where I went to college. We both played a little college ball. Didn't last. And once I was pretty much off the team for grades, I'm like, what am I even doing here, man? So I came back and I was right back in that same rut. Like I said, seeing you off doing your thing, it was that was what was inspiring to me, because you made that choice and that commitment to go do something better with your life. So
it's crazy, because now I like to think that I can push myself to do different things now. But back then, I didn't want to do anything. Yeah. Like, I hate to say it, but I didn't want to do anything to push myself. I didn't want to do anything that was hard. I was doing everything that was easy. And, when I woke up one morning and I was living at my parents' house, and my dad had the Air Force recruiter's number and address on the table, I was just like, I still was like, no, I'm not gonna do what he wants me to do. I'm gonna go to the Army recruiter. Like I was still
so it still wasn't exactly what he said to do.
Exactly.
Right. So you still had that little rebellion in you, like, I'm not gonna go Air Force, I'm gonna go Army.
Exactly.
So all right, so that brings us to another great point here. So when you first went from I'm not gonna listen to anybody, I don't give a shit what people say, I'm gonna do my own thing, then going to the Army and basic training, talk to me about that experience.
Yeah, I would be like, I'd be foolish to say I fit right in, because honestly, it was the biggest, one of the biggest changes and things I had to adapt to join in. Right. And we were social people. We had everybody like, I almost had like our fingertips, and then you go, you're cut off from the social world. You're cut off from everything for weeks and months. Yeah. And it's crazy. You get like one phone call and you're trying to call your family, but you don't talk to your friends. I didn't talk to any of y'all. Like, I missed y'all like crazy. Yeah. And then having to listen to everything. It was just a big experience change. And then, honestly, my life changed when I went to basic training. But then when I went to phase 1 of dive school, we got a little bit of freedom again. And what did I do? I abused the shit out of it and got myself in a bunch of trouble. I got kicked out of phase 1 of dive school. I got sent back to – I was about to get sent to the needs of the Army. I was about to go be an electrician. There's nothing wrong with these jobs, but I was about to go be an electrician in the Army, or like a truck driver or something. Right. And I fought for it, because that's what we do. We're stubborn. We're not taking anything no for an answer ever. Right. I fought for it, and I got the opportunity to still be a diver, but I had to go back to basic training again.
Wow.
Thanks to I don't want to say any names, but thanks to a good leader that I had in my dive school. He's a master diver now, but he saved my career in the dive field because he saw something in me, and he gave me the opportunity to go back to basic training just to see if I was resilient enough, if I was hungry enough, if I wanted it enough. So I went back to basic training, drew all my gear again, showed up day one, and was just getting screamed at. But it was all just a test because it was a test because he showed up a week later and picked me up. So it was just to see if I was going to do it or not, or if I wanted it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And I think that's just a testament because I know you. I know you like going through some of those times. Like me and you back in the day, we were both competitive as shit. Like we would always be on the other team because we would always have to face each other and we go neck and neck. We'd almost get into fights, and I'll even get into some little matches every now and then, just going back and forth. But, most people when they're faced with that, when they're like, okay, you could go have a job, you could be an electrician, you could do a truck driver, XYZ, or you can go back to phase one. I think like most people would say, like, yeah, just give me the driver position. What was it in you that said, no, this is what I want to do. I'm going to go back through dive school. I'm going to go back to the beginning and get it going from there.
Honestly, I think that when I left for everything, I was so proud to tell everybody back home that I was going to join and I was going to be a diver. And everyone was like, that's so cool. That's so cool. And then when I got kicked out, I think I was so embarrassed and I was so afraid to tell everybody that I failed. And I think that, and kind of jumping forward to Ranger School and everything, like that's like the biggest thing that I'm afraid of, I think, in life is failing in anything I do. I'm terrified of failing. I'm not afraid of really anything else, I don't think, but for me to fail is like one of the big, and letting people know, having to tell somebody, I mean, there is a lot of growth in it, and failing at something is good, but
So here, let me cut you off here really quick. So because I think I have almost the same fear that I've went through too, like especially going through college sports. For me, failing when it was more so my choice. Like if I fail and I try my hardest, like I'm not ashamed of that. Like I know I'm gonna go right back to the beginning and try again. But when I fail and I knew I didn't do everything within my power, I didn't give it my all, I didn't do the right things. That's when I feel like shit, and I feel like I can't tell.
Like I was gonna fail because I got caught with tobacco. Like I was gonna get sent home for that. That's embarrassing. It sucks. But like, if I failed because I just couldn't do it, that's different. But failing because of something in your own control, that's like, it's embarrassing and it sucks.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. And, it kind of brings me back, like you were saying, you were cut off of your friends for a while. But then after that, like, you are able to reach out a little bit. How important is it to have a support system and people reaching out to you, like when you're going through all of this?
So you're going to look back at your family and your friends back home from high school, and you're going to have a solid couple that are always going to be your core system. You're always going to have some backup. But I think the biggest thing in growth is when I moved to the Army, I met friends immediately, and they were friends who were going for the same goals as me. And it goes back to me and your friendship when we used to play each other. We pushed each other to get better. Yeah. We didn't get mad at each other. And so I meet friends in the Army and they push me to be better. They push me every day. But obviously things are going to get hard and I need to reach back to some friends back home. But I mean, especially once you leave, you find out who your real friends really are.
Yeah.
And and everybody can know this man Krem was calling me weekly, monthly. This dude calls me more than anybody. This dude calls me more than his mom. He's one of my best friends, man.
No, I appreciate you, and it's just been a lot of things that I've been going through too. We've been able to reach out and going through similar experiences, like failing and having to restart, getting kicked out of situations, and being able to just take a bet on yourself. And it doesn't matter what other people think. It's like I'm going to get through this. And I know you have that same mentality. Like I said, we always pushed each other. To this day, you still think you own our field, which is just a ridiculous thing to even think. We would be there. Let's just say it would have been 4 a.m. on the not so good side of 4. I don't think there is a good 4 a.m. or waking up. We were not waking up
on the bad side.
Yeah, we were not waking up at 4 a.m. at this point in our life. Let's just say that. And you would be going up to the field. Yeah, man, we had some good times, but it's really that transition. And that's pretty much why I wanted to bring you on here. Just being young, being able to basically pivot in your life, put your foot down and be like, I'm done going in this direction. I need to switch my ways. right?
Yeah, it's the hardest thing to do. It's like you tell an athlete to hang the cleats up, and that's the hardest thing for them to do. And you tell somebody from our age to stop partying or stop going out or stop drinking or stop doing this. It's like we were like, one, you weren't going to tell us anything, and two, I mean, I in my mind I didn't want to stop,
Yeah.
But it was slowly killing me, and it was only a matter of time. And my parents said it the best of me. It was only a matter of time before me or one of us ended up in prison or in some serious trouble.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful that I made that choice to leave. And I mean, dude, you followed quickly behind, and look at you now. You made so much progress, and you're about to be the biggest thing coming out of North Melton.
Hey man, I'm right behind you. But that's really what it was, man. When you left, I was like, shit. A week went by, I'm like, all right, Egizii, he didn't really go. Like he didn't really go do that. Because me seeing you in the Army at that point, I'm like, there's no fucking way that this dude who I know is so headstrong went to go take orders. But here we are all this time later.
It's funny. I remember little Logan Walsh telling me at the recreation center, he's like, you're not gonna make it. And I was just like, who are you? What are you telling me? Like,
right. Yeah, right. Yeah, little
he was probably in like 7th grade at the time too.
Right, telling you ain't shit, John. You ain't gonna make it. Yeah, but that's again like I want to go back to that moment and dissect, like kind of dive a little deeper into that. Like what was it that made you decide like this isn't the direction I want to go in? Like I need to make a change.
I mean, it was. And to be honest, I hated going to school. I still don't like going to school.
Right.
And I was thinking, like, what am I going to do? Am I really going to go back to college? Am I really going to try to keep playing football? Am I really going to go back to a school that I don't really want to go to? Or, I was talking to my friend Chris Ambrose at the time, and he was like, the Army might be a good choice for you. You could pick your job. They're going to pay you. You could do it. And I was just looking, and it's funny because when I first started talking, he always told me, he's like, you got to go to Ranger School. You got to go to Ranger School. You got to go to Ranger School. And in my mind, I'm like, dude, I'm about to go through dive school. Like, I'm not even thinking about Ranger School, but it was just, honestly, it was dumb. Like I don't want to say dumb, but it was an ignorant choice. Like I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I was just doing it because I know I needed to do something,
Right. Right. I mean, that's what it comes down to too. It's like knowing that you had to do something, there's a lot of times when, when the choice is, when we take the simple one, it's like, I'm just not going to do fucking anything. I'm just going to sit at home. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, sit in my basement, keep partying. Like that's just going to be it. Right. And I think there is just something like inside of some people when you just know that you want more, like there's a light bulb that goes off. And once that like, that's one thing I've always said. Once you learn something new, you can't unlearn it, right? Because once you see it, you're ignorant to the old way of life. You can't go back and say, I'm just going to go back to the way of life and pretend I didn't just see what I could become, right?
I think you do a really good job of that because you never become complacent.
Yeah.
And when we were younger, it was like, dude, being in the basement or doing what we were doing, we were so complacent. I was happy. I thought I was happy at least.
Right. Yeah.
But you can't be complacent.
I think that's what it is. Ignorance is bliss, right? We were just ignorant to the fact of anything else we could do. We were okay with staying up late playing FIFA and having your dad come down and some shit to us. Like, what the hell are you guys still doing here? Like that was okay. We were all okay with it because here's the thing, because we were all doing it together. So we were all like, by the group standards, we're like, hey, we're all doing this, so it must be okay, right?
Well, they say misery's company, or misery loves company, or something.
Misery loves company, man. And that's why when you left, it shook things up, man. I know I felt it. When you left and started doing your own thing, it shook things up. Like, well, fuck, maybe going over to John's basement isn't the only thing for us to do. Maybe there is a whole nother world out there. So I think that's where, like, we always have this saying, like with our real estate group, it's like who you surround yourself matters. Like you said, when you went off to when you went off to the Army, when you went off to do your own thing, you made those friends because you guys are all going through the same thing together. You had the similar goals. That's why you're able to keep pushing each other.
100%. And it's the same. Like anywhere you go, and a lot of times in the Army, when you go to these schools or you go somewhere, you're going to a new group of people. Like when I went to Ranger School, it was a new group of guys, people I'd never met before in my life. But the thing is that that's like you going to a meeting in Orlando by yourself or like somewhere else by yourself. It's all new people, but one, both of us are pretty sociable people. And two, everybody is there for the same reason. So you already have one common interest or one common thing that you can relate. And it's just about talking and getting to know those other common things that you have with those people. And you can make it happen. Anything that you want to do, we can make happen.
Right. No, I'm right there with you, John. I think that's a good thing to leave us off on. You know, if you put your mind to it, you surround yourself with the right people, anything is possible. You know,
for sure.
John, I appreciate you coming on here. You know, this was a long time coming. We've been talking about it, but, you know, with schedules, everything that you have going on, I'm glad that you were finally able to come on here. John, I appreciate you so much coming on for Young Getting Hungry, trying to transform some of our minds and get to the next level. I'll see you guys on the next one. Win the day.
Let's go.